My name is Leah Carter.
Good.
I came from Asheville, North Carolina, along with about 30 other people because of our concern with this whole radioactivity issue. Some of the speakers have been dealing with the past, as one of the speakers pointed out. Yucca Mountain is a dead issue. Let's go forward, not backwards. There are several possible solutions for radioactive waste. Vitrification has been tried. We can leave the waste in place where it is, and no further generation of waste. Was construction of nuclear power plants a basic mistake? I believe it was. At the time of construction, they were viewed as a cheap, clean, safe way of generating power for domestic use. The chemistry and danger of radioactivity were not then widely known. I'll remind you, there is no safe level of radiation. The southeastern United States has 19 nuclear power plants with a total of 33 reactors. So we're certainly concerned about how the spent fuel and radioactive waste will face disposal, and we can be sure there'll be leakage of radiation from all of those. Safety of the public is the first consideration, so transportation of waste should not be considered. Accidents do happen, and the contamination could be great. Radiation released to the public must be prevented. Transportation through western North Carolina is particularly undesirable, as even our bus driver told us, even hazardous because of the narrow, steep, and winding roads. And building more highways, as some have suggested, is not the answer. Nor does western North Carolina want to store the radioactive waste. We would not consider that a desirable industry for our region, undesirable and unwanted. The most desirable move would be no further generation of radioactive waste. It is possible to change our national policies and rely more on renewable sources of energy, solar, wind, and so forth. Thank you.
Yeah. That's great.
I'm Dr. Lou Page Reed, Chair of Western North Carolina Physicians for Social Responsibility. No one can deny the great economic boom that nuclear activities have contributed to South Carolina. However, considering our nation's current economic distress, how can we justify further billions on reprocessing? Nuclear has cost the nation, nuclear actions have cost the nation trillions of dollars over 65 years. Why would our experts suggest that we spend billions more on unproved solutions? One of the biggest unresolved problems in this nuclear fuel chain is nuclear waste, and it still persists. After 50 years, the nuclear industry has not found any safe method of disposing of or storing this radioactive waste anywhere in the world. Much has been touted about the French experiment and experiences with radioactive waste processing. People considering the pros and cons of reprocessing seem unaware that much less than 10% of spent fuel can be recycled, and that the actual process creates a lot more of waste than originally existed. Also, there has been a little airing of the facts that French nuclear reprocessing emits large quantities of radioactive material into the air, endangering undetermined numbers of people and the sea, contaminating the ocean as far as the Arctic Circle. Some similar experiences have occurred in relation to Sellafields plant in the United Kingdom, where an expert has suggested that people should stop, 20 or more years ago, suggested that people should stop having babies that live in that area. There are many other things which I will submit in my written comments. In summary, with questions I've raised, it is difficult for me to understand rationalizations for billions of dollars more to be invested in such unproved and hazardous activity as nuclear reprocessing.
residence in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm retired as a career as an electro-optical engineer. And I'm a member of the Western North Carolina Physicians for Social Responsibility and also a member of the Union of Concerned Scientists. Now, why should I be concerned from Asheville? I've got a whole list here which I'll submit, but I'm not going to go over them all right with you because I don't have much time. Transit dangers have already been mentioned, that's one. But my overriding concern is that we as citizens have been misled by nuclear proponents claiming that nuclear energy is clean and less expensive than other sources of energy. This is revealed by EROEI analysis, energy return on energy invested. I give the source for that in my paper. This illustrates that of 20 feasible energy sources considered, 14 are superior to nuclear, and 17 of the 20 have less carbon footprint than nuclear. EROEI, also known as net energy, has been defined as the energy delivered by an energy-obtaining activity compared to the energy required to get it. This overall efficiency assessment includes a whole system consideration from the extraction at the source, processing, construction, and operation of the delivery plant, and cost of any subsequent waste handling and or disposal. This, I believe, is looking at the whole picture in the way it really is. It is, in my opinion, an honest appraisal. Furthermore, another comparison shows that nuclear is having the third highest carbon footprint among the same 20 candidates, following only conventional coal and tar sands. So the EROEI concept should be applied to all projects, especially those dependent on taxpayer support.
Thank you. I've spent a half a day coming down here, 250 miles. The panel has asked what's the area of interest, who should you talk to? I'm telling you, I'm 250 miles away, and I'm very concerned about what's happening here. I live within 3 miles, actually, of Interstate 26 in Nashville, near the US 40 intersection, a kind of dangerous place to start out with. And there was some talk earlier about the tremendous amount of material that's been processed down here, and a significant amount, if not the majority of that material, has come right by my house. I don't like it, and I'm going to fight it as much as I can, everywhere I can. So, you guys just keep this stuff out of Asheville, and I'll respect your jurisdiction. You kind of respect what we'd like to do up there. And then I think you can tell from the proof here that a lot of us that are fired up about it. Nuclear power is dirty. At least personally, I believe that. It's an old-timey thing. It's not the way we ought to go. 10 years from now, if you continue like this, you're going to have the same conversation. 25 years from now, you're going to have the same conversation. If you took some of this energy and money and whatever and put it a little bit more into wind and solar, I think 10 or 20 years from 10, 25 years from now, we could be a lot further than where we are going to. In the long term, it's really dirty. It's the dirtiest of all power sources because it basically doesn't go away on a human scale. There was some question about how the devil do you get feedback and know what's really going on. There's a tremendous amount of anger and angst and resentment in the broader-based community about a lot of things. And nuclear power is not the only thing. But too often government panels try to take the easy way out, and you go to the already organized places like chambers of commerce and whatever, and these folks are disconnected. And even local governments, the leaders are disconnected from their base. And so if Procter & Gamble wanted to know about marketing a new laundry detergent here, they're going to go out and use consultants and other resources. They're going to know what the community really feels like. And finally, if I was Allendale and Aiken and all, I sure as hell wouldn't